Plus, though, after appearing on Loose Women last week, singer Joshua Radin's given an interview in which he explains where his trademark whispercore sound comes from. He said that whilst living in a small New York apartment, he had to practice his songs quietly because a neighbour used to call the police whenever she heard him. This doesn't bode well, does it? We think he's got a lovely voice. But how tolerant are we of the noise next door?
I hate noise. You know, like if you're staying in a hotel and next door you can hear their telly. I don't like it. I like to sleep with complete silence. Although I don't mind noise from the neighbours if it's an argument, because then I like to have a little listen. Yeah. And then I feel like I want to knock on the door and go, so what happened in the end then? But obviously I can't do that. But no, I'm not very good. And I do try and be quiet, but you know, when I'm sitting and playing the piano or I'm teaching somebody with a really loud voice, I do get a bit worried, but I've got a lovely neighbour. Hello, Edipa. She's quiet. She sits and reads a book, so it's no problem for me. But I think it's rude, and I think you should tone it down a bit, because I think you should... I do. What?
I'm just looking at Carol, and I know she had a big night Friday.
Sometimes you don't realise the volume, do you?
No.
Sometimes. Because where I live is very communal, you're in close proximity with a lot of people, and so you do have to be considerate, and there are rules. However, sometimes you do come in at night and, you know, when you've had a few wines, you do go a bit deaf, don't you? So I would never complain about anybody in my building because I am guilty sometimes of making that racket. And one morning...
Don't put music on really
loud.
Well,
I have done. I tried to keep the doors closed now, because if the doors are open, then it's just hell for everybody. But one night we came in and... we were playing some really loud ABBA music, and one of my neighbours got up in the morning and the doors were open. He came over and, you know, he was very well-spoken. He went, I don't know if you heard it last night, Carol, but somebody in the building was playing music at stadium volume.
And did you fess up? Did you say it was you?
No, didn't hear a thing. But, you know, some of the neighbours are quite noisy, but you just don't realise when you're in your own little space and, you know... Then my next-door neighbour's got a surround sound system on his TV, which is...
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, God, when he's watching a disaster film, you feel like you're in it.
No, you're in the film.
It's like the earth shattered like that, and it's like an earthquake. It's that loud, but I don't mind because, you know, people have got to live, haven't they?
I lived in a little old flat when I was at drama school. It was in this very old building. We had one room, me and this guy that I lived with, and every night we heard all these noises and screaming and shouting and all sorts of noises. Anyway, I didn't take any notice. And then one day, we were 3 floors up one day, there was a knock on the door and I opened it, this man, and I thought he was the gas man. I thought he'd come and look at my meter, and it was a brothel. We were actually living in a brothel, and I thought he'd come to look at my meter.
Maybe, Do you know what?
Have a good read.
I try to be a good neighbour. But, you know, when you're staying in hotel rooms, you really are conscious of the fact that, you know, the walls aren't terribly thick.
You hear everything.
So we were at this hotel in Ibiza one night, and there was the kind of action going on that you might expect in a brothel in the next room. And at first you think, good on them. 4 hours later, the sun's rising, and they are still... I mean, clearly not very good at what they're doing. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going with this? So in the end, I just said to Darren, I've had enough of this. Got out of bed, leant over the balcony and went, if you can't get it on, you know, any chance you could turn it down a bit? And I came back and he went, I cannot believe you. I can't believe you've just done that. He wouldn't go down to breakfast with me in case we saw them. I said, well, you know, they only know what I look like. They don't know what you look like.
Yeah.
But I think there comes a point where, you know, honestly, just have a bit of self-respect. Everyone on the island could hear them.
No, but again, it's one of those noises that only applies to other people. If it was you, you would be thinking you were being really quiet.
Trust me, I've never been that vocal.
Oh,
no, I'm no Leslie Garrett. OK, now, if you want to touch up your wardrobe without touching your wallet, helps their hand.